move on to the season review, because we are going to go way back to August and see what we picked. Well, let's start with the Patriots, because I thought that this team was going to go 10-7. You gave it an overall record of 8-9. What did you see about this team that made you think they're going to go 8-9? And then, was that their final record?
Yeah. I hit that right on the head.
Yeah.
I didn't have necessarily the game. I had them starting off pretty decent and then like losing towards the end. I don't know if that's exactly what happened, but I think, for me, heading into the season, my question mark was just around the offense and not knowing who was calling plays. When we had put this together, we didn't know if Matt Patricia would be the one calling plays, like how that was going to work out. Bill was being really secretive. And I thought that the Patriots would take a little bit of a step back this year.
Well, I actually, I don't want to play devil's advocate or play what ifs game, but if those 3 games, the Raiders games, which they threw away that ball, the Cincinnati game, which they threw away the ball, and the one game that's always going to haunt me, because I thought that should have been a cupcake win for them, was the Chicago game. So if those 3 games, if they would have taken care of business, played disciplined ball, we wouldn't even be talking about them. But it is what it is. That's what they play the games. The other 2 Patriots fans also had them winning more than 10 games. So it is what it is. On to the Steelers. You had them going 10-7. I had them going 7-10. They ended up 9-8, right?
Yep.
So, Ron, why did you think they were going to go 10-7?
I thought our defense would play better at the beginning of the season. I couldn't predict, obviously, that TJ Watt would get hurt and miss all those games. But I also thought Trubisky would play better at the beginning of the season, and he didn't, and we eventually pulled the trigger before the bye week. The offense was worse than I thought it would be. Play calling was atrocious. We started to click and execute a little bit better down the stretch. But I thought, and I still think this is a playoff team. I really do. Especially on the defensive side. I think we had one of the top defenses the last 5 or 6 games. And I think offensively, we're still playing catch up a little bit. We've improved. But, we're not, when you compare us to Kansas City or Buffalo or some of the other teams that are in the playoffs, we're nowhere close to that offensively. So I thought we'd have a decent season. I had 10-7, like you said. We finished 9-8. We were right where I expected us to be if we didn't throw away the Jets game, for example. That's the game I think we were up. And then we just blew it at the end. We had the game with Trubisky threw 3 interceptions when Kenny was concussed and couldn't play. So we had our chances too. We had some misses, but that's what happens. You can't afford to lose games that you're supposed to win. That's unfortunately what happened to us.
Yeah, I thought that the Steelers would go 7-10, and there was 2 games, actually 3, but there were 2 games that I thought were gonna be losses, and you guys took it as win. That was when you faced Baltimore. The reason for that is because Lamar was not there. That changed 2 games right there. So that could have easily, instead of being 9-8, could have been 7-10.
But we historically do okay against Baltimore. We know how to defend Lamar and that offense. We match up really well against them. So even if Lamar would have played, I don't necessarily think that they would have beaten us. I think I still would have given the edge to Pittsburgh.
You would have given the edge to Pittsburgh. I think and we talk about Lamar, and Lamar, he's definitely a weapon. And I think that they will franchise him. They're not going to give him a lot of money, the guarantee money that he wants, but they will franchise him. Whether or not he plays next year, I don't know. But again, If he plays, I think he makes a difference. I don't
Why
know.
wouldn't he play though? You mean because of not having a contract and then franchising him?
Yeah, the
You think he's
franchise.
gonna sit out?
He's gonna sit out.
No.
You don't think
crazy?
he'll sit out?
You know how much money they get for being franchised? I'm not sitting out if I'm franchised.
I'm not gonna let some mediator, rank me. Oh, you think you should get 20 mil. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna see how much he's asking for. They're gonna see how much team is gonna give. They're gonna meet in the middle.
No, that's not how it works.
How it works?
It works. They look at like the average salaries for quarterbacks, and you can get franchised twice. And I don't know exactly where you fit in it. The first tag versus the I know the second tag you're paid, like really paid. But they're looking at the salaries for all the quarterbacks in the league. He's gonna get paid pretty decent. So I don't think he's sitting out. He'll sit out in the preseason, right? Because you don't want to get hurt, to your point. But once the game start, he's getting, he's going to get paid. Now, he doesn't, when you get franchised, you get your money, but you don't have that protection of getting injured. So that's a risk he's taking as he plays throughout the season. That's why he needs to get a contract going. And that's why this injury, that he has now should tell him, hey, just sign an extension and have some guaranteed money. But I mean, I think he'll play, he'll get paid, whether he gets franchised or not. He's still going to be up there in terms of quarterback pay.
See, the thing is if he plays and while he's franchised and he gets hurt again, he's not going to get the same money.
Yeah.
So,
I get that.
I don't think that, especially his mom being his agent, I don't think his mom would want him to risk that. He's going to sit.
We'll see. I don't know. They went and signed, what's his name, the linebacker, for like a ridiculous contract. So
yeah, so the money's there. They have the money. So what's happened?
The guarantee. That's all it is.
That's what it is. Yeah. So going back to that, I think Lamar, if he plays, he makes a difference. But he didn't play. Guys ended up being 9-8. Mike Tomlin still winning record.
That's right.
Over 500.
Mm-hmm.
So he keeps that streak going. Again, Do you want to fire him?
I had never wanted to fire him.
Oh my God.
Never wanted to fire him.
When you guys were like 1-4, you were like, get rid of Mike Tomlin.
You're making stuff up.
I will look for that clip.
Listen, all I said is Mike Tomlin is not an X's and O's coach.
Yeah.
He's great with the locker room, great with the media.
Yeah.
His decision making when it comes to X's and O's,
so you're
and more
questioning
importantly, hiring. Him? That's what I
You're questioning his coaching style.
I'm yes. Well, not his coaching style. I'm questioning his decision making, especially when it comes to coaches.
I will look for that clip because you wanted him to quit. You actually went out and were like,
you lost your damn mind.
I want Mike Tomlin to quit.
No, you have lost your mind. You're making stuff up. I've never said I want Mike Tomlin to quit.
Yes,
I'll tell you what I told you.
No, don't change. I'll find it. We'll go back and I'll find it.
At the end of the season, I said before the season finishes, as a matter of fact, Mike Tomlin needs to fire Matt Canada. That's what I said. And I said, Mike Tomlin, if he doesn't fire Canada by the end of the season, Mike Tomlin's going to be on the hot seat because the owners aren't going to put up with it. Now, this is me not expecting them to bounce back and be 9-8. But I said Mike Tomlin would be on the hot seat because he's unwilling to fire a coach that he brought in, another bad hire, and he's had a reputation for bringing in some bad coaches, right? That's the part of Mike Tomlin I don't like. Look at this. We're 4 days in, and we'll get to it, but Matt Canada is still not fired. That's the frustrating part of being a Steelers fan. When it comes to the coaches, Mike Tomlin has a lot of influence on who's going to be on his roster, obviously, who's going to be in his coaching staff. And the frustrating thing, I think people like me who have been a Steelers fan for a while, see people like Dick LeBeau leave when Tomlin came in, see some other guys leave. That's the frustrating part. The guys you're bringing in, Mike Canada especially, isn't qualified. So does Tomlin deserve to be fired? No.
Dick LeBeau, did he leave to be a head coach?
No, he just left. He retired, basically.
Oh, well, that's
quote unquote retired.
That's different.
But I'm putting quote unquote because if you read or listen to anything that's going on in Pittsburgh, Tomlin basically forced him out. That's what it came down to.
Well,
that's the part I don't like about it. Tomlin's a good coach.
Tomlin's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, of course he is.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean that he can't be criticized, right? It doesn't mean that he should not have. He met my expectations. I told you. I had them 10-7. They were 9-8. Record-wise, fine. I'm talking about personnel, especially on the coaching side. I didn't like, for example, and I'll go back to even on the player side.
So you're happy with 9-8?
I'm not happy with 9-8.
Then what?
But I expected 9-8. I expected 9-8 because I expected 10-7. I got a rookie quarterback playing. I got a brand new offensive line playing.
Listen, if they don't make the playoffs and actually make noise in the playoffs, this is a failed year.
It's not a failed year with a rookie quarterback. No, not at all. Why didn't
you start Pickett from the beginning?
Well, and again, that's the part, right? We can talk about, we can sit back and say, did he make those right decisions? Should he have went to Pickett at the beginning of the season? Should he have went to him earlier? Should he have waited till the bye week? Those are just the decision parts I don't always agree with Mike Tomlin. I would have done the same thing with Trubisky, to be honest with you. And if you remember how Pickett performed beginning of the season, he didn't play well, right? He was throwing some interceptions. Not all of it was his fault, but it took some time for him to grow. And it wasn't until they were like 2 and whatever that he, decided to put him in, which is fine. So I don't have necessarily a problem with that part of it. I think for me, I have issues with, again, Matt Canada. I have some issues with some of the people they draft. Definitely have issues with the X's and O's. And then this year specifically, just not being able to come out and make adjustments. That's something he owns. Whether he makes the call or not, whether he's calling plays or not, he's not calling plays, but he still owns it, right, as a coach. That's the part that's frustrating to me.
So if you don't want Mike Tomlin fired, right, as you say, and this is so next year,
mm-hmm.
All right, Ron, what's your expectation for 2024? Do you think that they will go 10-7, or do you think they're worse record, better record? What do you think?
I think they're going to have a better record, regardless of who the coordinator is, just based on the schedule. And I know lots of stuff can change.
Even if it's Matt Canada?
Even if it's Matt Canada, we're going to have a better record. Again, I don't want Matt Canada. I think he's limited, right? Even though we were winning at the end, we weren't scoring a lot. I think we may have jumped up a point or a point and a half or something like that, but we still weren't scoring like the amount that we needed to. And again, not all of it is on Matt Canada. There's execution that needs to happen from a player standpoint. This is a young team, right? Rookie quarterback, rookie backup running back, rookie receiver, brand new offensive line. Now we're going into year 2. I expect to see some growth, regardless of who's calling plays, especially with the schedule we have. So I see 11 wins just looking at those teams at the very least. I think we're going to have a good season. I hope we have a different coordinator, but I've convinced myself at this point that it's most likely not going to happen. And even if it doesn't, things will work out because we're heading the right direction.
Okay, well, make me a promise that in 2024, if Matt Canada comes back, you cannot complain about Matt Canada. Because obviously,
I can still complain about him.
Mike Tomlin has decided to stick with him, and that means you like Mike Tomlin, you have to deal with the decision.
I got to deal with it regardless, whether I agree with it or not. Like, you could ask all of Steeler Nation. I think 85% is going to tell you get rid of Matt Canada, but 85% probably are saying it's not going to happen because that's not who Tomlin is. That's not who the Steelers are. They let you play out your contract, right? They let you coach out your contract, and then they get rid of you. So, it's probably not going to happen. But again, there's still a lot of positives, I think, over the last 6 games. We're not scoring. We're still, not executing touchdowns all the time. We're still kicking too many field goals. But there's a lot to build off of. And more importantly, like I said, they're not rookies anymore next year. Kenny's had 8 or 9 games under his belt. Najee will be healthy. Jalen Warren will be healthy, and he's not a rookie. Pickens won't be a rookie. He might be the number 1 next year, to be honest with you, over Deontay. So there's lots to build upon. That's what I'm excited about. That's why I was asking you earlier, what are you excited about for your team for next year? Those are the things I'm excited for my team.
Yeah, I can't say I'm excited about my team for now because I'm still hurting about the 2022 season and how bad they played. And half the team is free agents anyway. So I can't say here and say, well, this guy's going to come back, that guy's going to come back, because they weren't really rookies. Most of them were on free agent contracts. So I can't really say. And until we reshuffle the whole coaching staff, I don't know what's going to happen. It's just too early. The only thing that really got excited me about 2022 was the defense. I think the defense was well. Of course, we got the safety that's retiring. But if they keep that nucleus, then we're fine. Because that defense was a top 10 all year.
And you had some young corners, right?
We had some young corners. So there's a lot to be excited on that side of the ball. But on the other side, it's just a total mess. I mean, the rumor is that Mac Jones is out. That's just the rumor.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they move on from him. Nothing will surprise me anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like anything goes.
Yeah.